Welcome back to Winning Flag Football. I'm your host, Coach Art. Today, let's get your offense using simple audibles in just minutes. There's 3 different things that you're going to want to have in your arsenal to put together a simple offensive audible system. The first one is a simple hot call for all your receivers. This is going to change every receiver's route to be the exact same route, and it can be very useful in certain situations. Here's a situation in 5-man flag football where we very clearly have no deep safety. Now let's say that our call is a levels concept, and we're not really liking what we see. Notice here on the left that you've actually got quite a bit of distance between the Z receiver and the cornerback who's off 10 yards off the ball. It may actually be better to not run this Z receiver deep and allow that cornerback to maintain good coverage. Instead, we may want to audible red, red, and change all of the routes to hitches. This way, the Z receiver comes under control at 5 yards, underneath the cornerback, and you can make that pass and steal 5 yards. So you can do that with an all go or all hitch. Any hot call will do, and you can use colors like red, green, blue, orange, whatever you'd like. The next thing is a switch call for your best receiver. Now this is a situation where you're going to want the quarterback and just the number 1 receiver to actually make the change. The number 1 receiver is your best person. It might be your fastest receiver. It could be your tallest. It might be both. But it's the person that when the chips are down, this is the person you want to throw to. So in this case, both the quarterback and the receiver can use a wrist play calling sheet. Usually it's a letter number combination in my systems, but the switch call would tell the number 1 receiver to run a different route relative to what was already called. The last thing you can do is use a number call for all receivers. Now, admittedly, this is the more complicated way to do it, but it gives you a tremendous amount of control. Number calls mean that you're going to use the route tree and identify the number of the route that you are calling based on where the person lines up. Green 17, green 17. Green tells the center what to do. Since green means go in our lingo, the center runs a go pattern. The 17 refers to the routes on the route tree. So the 1 is a 5-yard route, and the 7 is a corner or flag route. It can be very simple to change routes at the line, so long as the defense does not crack your code. Remember, the goal is to find mismatches in your pre-snap read and exploit weaknesses in the defensive coverage. So when you're designing an audible system, the first thing you want to make it is simple. That may be counterintuitive because you might assume that you have to make it complex in order for it to not be decrypted. But remember, you are playing a game that might be 40 or 45 minutes long. You might be out there for an hour. There's no system that can be cracked and completely decoded in an hour, in a way that's going to make any difference. So as long as you're not playing the same team multiple times in a season, you can get away with using the same audible system for different opponents. The cryptic part means that it's hard to decode in 40 minutes, and that means that you just all need to be on the same page. It's got to be stuff that's easy to say, but also easy to remember. Most importantly, success depends on practice. You've got to get out there and use it. Knowing it on paper is not enough. You've got to execute on the field, and that takes practice. We'll be back next week with more Winning Flag Football. Thanks for joining us.